Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this narration of the web novel Humans Don't Make Good Familiars, taken from Reddit with the author's approval. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed in the description. And, as always, I hope that you enjoy. Part 14. Sumiste. See you later, Jake said in a rough human voice as he faded away. Jake and I just got done performing a few tests to see if he could use magic like I can. After he left, I flew to town to take care of a few tasks that needed tending. It only took me a few minutes to fly down to town without Jake. He may be incredibly large and strong, but he is obscenely slow. Normally, it takes over 20 minutes to go from our training area down to town with him. My first stop is City Hall. I needed to file paperwork on Jake's spear. All equipment used by a familiar needs to be registered. It only takes a few minutes. I have a new name that Jake gifted me with to thank for that. Afterwards, I flew to the Royal Citadel. I was now a named citizen, and as such, I had to present myself before the Grand Duke for inspection. It is an event that is done once every 6 months, so if I didn't do it now, it would be another quarter of a year before I could do it again. It was a special occasion, and many lords and nobles came to watch and see how many of their citizens get named. It is an investment, in a way. The more citizens with names that a lord or nobles has living in their territories, the more funding they get for future projects or goals. I live in Count Thacoma Isballa's domain, so he will be the one who inspects me and gets the funding. When I arrived, there was a large crowd of nobles talking amongst themselves. I knew they were nobility from their highly ornate feathers and high-quality beast familiars. Their feathers had been dyed a dazzling array of bright colors, and the familiars that they were perched on were ones whose races were known to have dense life forces and unique traits. Not only that, but the saddles on the familiars, the ones that their masters were perched on, were excessively extravagant. As a citizen who was presenting, I was to go into a smaller room and prepare myself. After asking for directions and finding the room, I found myself only amongst 4 others. A child who still had his tuft in some places, an elder with feathers beginning to turn white, and 2 others about my age, a male and a female standing off together away from the rest of us. We didn't wait long. Soon someone was sent to lead us out and explained how everything would go. She flew into the room and landed on a perch in the center of us all. Attention, attention everyone, we will shortly be making our way to the Grand Duke's meeting hall. Once we do, you'll fly in and land on single file on the same perch that I do. It'll be a long, narrow bar, so be careful when landing. Afterwards, the Great Duke will enter the room. You are all expected to bow for a moment, then await your turn to present yourselves. Once you've finished, you'll be led out of the chamber by either myself or another chamber representative. After that, you may either leave and return home, or go through the side entrance and watch as the rest of the presentations with everyone else. Does everyone understand? She concluded. One by one, we each answered that we understood. Well then, everyone, line up, and let's begin. We all lined up, and one by one flew in a single file line as instructed into the meeting hall. She wasn't kidding about a narrow bar. I was only barely able to land smoothly. The young child stumbled a bit, but caught himself without falling. Once we had all landed, the Grand Duke flew in and perched atop a high pedestal. We each bowed for a moment as instructed, and the Grand Duke ordered us to rise for the first of us to step forward. Each of the places we landed had numbers, so the one closest to the Duke would go first. There were 5 of us, and I was last. First up was one of the others my age, the male. He flew to the perch in the center of the room and began his introduction. My name is Quanka, and I reside in Lord Gamut's territory. Tell me, Granka, who gave you your name? Grand Duke asked. My name was given to me by my master, Kalsundi, before his death. I was his apprentice and have taken over his duties and business, Quanka explained. And what is it that you do? The Grand Duke questioned. I'm a craftsman. I deal with the construction and creation magics. Some of my duties include repairing buildings, maintaining structures, and fabricating tools used for other trades, Quanka said. Important work, Quanka. You have been seen, and your name is recognized by the court. A record of your name shall be made and stored in the city's library. You may take your leave, the Grand Duke said. Quanqua thanked him and was escorted out. Next up was the woman that he was with in the waiting room. She flew over and landed gracefully on the center perch. My name is Selakar, and I reside in Lord Gamut's territory, she said. Tell me, Selakar, who gave you your name? The Grand Duke asked. I was named by my husband's master, Sosandi, before his death, Selakar said. Nah, not an uncommon occurrence. Tell me, Selakar, what is it that you do? The Duke asked. I'm a magical scholar. My focus is on rune magic. My duties include creating runes for different purposes and installing them when and where needed, she explained. I see. Thank you, Selakar. You have been seen and your name recognized by the court. A record of your name shall be made and stored in the city's library. You may take your leave. She also thanked the Duke and was escorted out. Next in line was the eldest of us. My name is Nook, and I reside in Baron Chiber's domain, the eldest said in a breathy, strained voice. Tell me, Nook, who was it that gave you your name? The Duke asked. I was given my name by Baron Chiber as recognition of esteemed military service, Nook said. The Duke thought. It is highly unusual for a noble to name a member of their own territory, but special exceptions aren't unheard of. Do you still work for the military? No, sir. I was given my name once I retired 2.5 months ago, Nook explained. Well then, once we have confirmed your military record, your name will be added to the city's library. You will be sent a notice once we have confirmed everything. You may take your leave, the Duke said. The elder, Nook, slowly made his way out, and the youngest one took his place on the perch. My name is Abamzi Verville, and I reside in Viscount Sali Verville's domain, the young man squeaked. What is your relation to the Viscount? The Duke asked. I am his youngest child, Ambamza said. I see. And was it your parents who gave you your name? The Duke wondered. Yes, sir, Ambamza replied. Do you have a duty or jobs, Ambamza? The Duke asked. No, sir. I'm still too young to legally take a job, Ambamza explained. Well then, as the son of a Viscount, you have been seen and your name recognized. A record shall be created and stored in the city's library. Once you have turned of age, all rights and liberties of a name shall be afforded to you. You may take your leave. And Memza shyly thanked the Duke and was escorted out. Finally, it was my turn. I flew to the perch and presented myself. I am Suma, and I reside in Count Therakoma Isbala's domain, I said nervously. I felt as if every eye in the room was gazing into my soul, as if to prod the core of my very being. Tell me, Suma, who was it who gave you your name? The Duke asked. My name was given to me by a human called Jake, known to the court as Sentinel, I told him. A human? What is that? The Duke asked, sounding confused. It is a very powerful being from another world, called Earth, I said. And what of this name discrepancy? You said that he was called Jake, but was known as Sentinel. Why is this? The Duke wondered. On his world, he was named Jake, but he has become my familiar, and so I chose a summoning name for him, Sentinel, I told him. The room was filled with murmurs and grumbling, some sounding angry, others shocked. Order in the court, the Grand Duke announced loudly. The hall fell silent once more. Suma, this is a highly unusual circumstance. Your claim that your familiar named you, while it is not illegal, it is abnormal. Tell me, what is it that you do? I am in waiting to be summoned to the battlefield. I volunteered for the King's armed forces 4 months ago, I told him. You are quite brave indeed, young Suma. I wish you a good fortune in your tour of duty, and hope that you return home unharmed. Once we have checked that you have indeed taken a familiar named Sentinel, a record of your name will be made and stored in the city's library. You may take your leave, the Duke said. Thank you, sir, I said, and bowed before following my escort out to the chambers. With my exit, the Grand Duke dismissed the event and sent orders to the city's library to create all the confirmed names. I flew home that day, elated. I was now officially going to be recognized as having a name. I only wish that I could have foreseen what would happen later that very day. End of chapter. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Bezic, Try Again 95, Fudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Athelia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksbaum. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.